to Into the Spotlight with Osaka Jack on Everfree Network. Hello everyone, this is Osaka Jack with Into the Spotlight on Everfree Network. With me today I have someone you may probably be familiar with if you watched any of the last season of My Little Pony. Ms. Ingrid Nilson, hello!
Hi. Hey.
How are you
Hello.
today?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
for
this
being
is
on. This is an odd thing because this is the first show that I've recorded that won't be airing quote-unquote live. It'll be going straight to YouTube. So
oh,
there's no chat right now. Woohoo!
it's quiet.
It's very quiet.
I
Too
like
quiet.
quiet.
Well, if anybody is completely clueless, could you let them in a little? Who are you?
I'm Maud. Uh, on the show, I played kind of some people describe her in different ways, but she was just kind of a flat, monotone pony. But I think there's a lot more going on there. And her name is Maud Pie. She's sisters with Pinkie Pie.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with you. I have seen some depictions where they try to pass Maud off as emotionless. I'm like, no, I don't. No, no, no. She
I
she
know
has
people like
emotions.
Maud.
Yeah, absolutely. People show emotions in different ways, and I don't think Maud is any different.
Exactly.
I mean, even Pinky says it at the very end. Everyone's like, well, we thought you'd be more excited. Are you kidding? I've never seen her so happy.
Maybe she's just really, really subtle.
Yeah, I think that's it exactly. I think just, the usual outward signs of emotions don't apply to her. It's not a nonchalance or a void. It's just showing it differently.
Exactly. I mean, like, look at the history of art. There's like artists express themselves in all different ways. Like,
Hmm.
it
Absolutely.
couldn't be more different.
Yeah. I doubt you'd find anybody, well, I doubt now you'd find anybody who would say, seriously, Picasso, why can't you paint them with two eyes? What's wrong with you?
I know, and back then they thought he was all weird, but then, yeah, he
Well,
kind of became
to be
the
honest,
thing.
he was weird, but it doesn't make
Yeah,
him not a genius at art.
let's call a spade a spade. Right.
Yeah. Not saying he's not a genius, but yeah, he
No,
was weird.
in his special way.
This was
Well, I love artists. That's what I just want to say.
okay. All right. Have you had a chance to see any of the mod art that's been done?
Yeah, well I mean, and that's kind of what the fandom has opened my eyes to is how many amazing artists are out there and have embraced the show. And it's so refreshing to see, yeah, like the remarkable different ways that different artists have found their own in with expressing themselves through ponies.
It's yeah. I have heard it before compared that Star Trek is to science what My Little Pony is to art.
I love that. That's so beautiful. That's really profound.
It's the spark that sets off the flame. Yep.
It's yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen my fair share of like different comics and
Hmm.
just fan art, and it's so beautiful. I even I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but I tried to draw a pony the other day.
I didn't see it because I may have been sleepy at that point, but I'm gonna look at it now and I'm gonna put it right here on the screen. Wah!
It was really humbling, and like I kind of apologized for it when I posted it. It was I wrote my grandpa a card at Christmas time,
Mhm.
and I just felt inspired because he loves cartoons, and he actually knew this is his claim to fame. He was in the same graduating class as the original Homer Simpson.
Oh wow.
So I guess like the character that Homer Simpson was based off of was in it was either his high school graduation class or maybe it was his confirmation.
Huh.
But so fascinating. So he's 95 and that he will still talk to anyone that crosses his path about how he knows the original Homer Simpson.
That's pretty awesome.
Plus,
I think that's
yeah,
fantastic.
so I wrote him a card because he likes cartoons, and I drew a pony, and it was, I did my best, but
Sure.
it made me really respect all of the artists that do such phenomenal work
Oh
that,
yeah. Yeah. Before I actually started the show, I had it's an odd concept to me now, but I had free time occasionally at work,
I
and
know the feeling.
I I hear those words. It's like, what is that? Free time?
Clear your ears out.
Yeah. But no, for a while I tried every day. I tried to draw a pony, and I was terrible. I was absolutely horrible at it. By the end of the month, you could recognize what character it was, and it looked like, okay, you're a beginning artist, but yeah, total respect to people who can art.
Yeah, who can art? It's a verb.
I'm
Yeah.
an English teacher. I don't get to draw ponies and make them look good, but dang it, if I take a word and I decide that it's a verb, it's a verb. That's how it works.
End of story.
Yeah.
Hand in your examinations now.
I'm gonna get a lot of complaints in about 2 years. You told me that art was a verb. Uh, uh, okay.
I mean, Shakespeare made up a ton of words, so I think you
Yeah,
have some liberty to do that.
absolutely.
Uh, yeah, that's a good question. Well, he also made up a lot of profanities, but we
Yes.
won't go there because we just won't.
Sure. Yes. I saw a recent comic that had decided what if Charles Dickens had been allowed to use present day profanities, and some of the character names were quite good.
Oh, the things on the internet.
Yes. We've been able to attend, I think, 2 conventions so far.
You're correct.
Okay.
You must have the app.
I do have the PonyCon app. Everybody, PonyCon app's free on the App Store. The Android version is coming, they assure us. Please stop bugging them about
Oh, I hope they make the BlackBerry one. Reveal, I use a BlackBerry. I hope that doesn't make me the weirdest person ever. Maybe I am.
Hey, no judgment from me. I was the last person in West Japan to use a analog phone. So,
Fair enough. I just love BlackBerry because I do a lot of business with emails and just communicating quickly. So if I can type it out on the keyboard, it makes my day.
I can understand that. I can
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah, as long as I've been using, and I really do like my iPhone. Give me all the hate you want. I don't care. But it's still very frustrating when I will type a tweet out, I'll send it, and I'll be like, oh, look at that. O and I have been reversed. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean the BlackBerry does the same thing. And by the way, I wouldn't hate on you because of your phone. But yeah, the just the autocorrect, it's sometimes insane what it switches us to. It's like
This
that's
isn't
not
even
even
autocorrect. This is just, I guess, my big finger aimed for I, but hit O.
I say blame autocorrect.
Autocorrect did it. Absolutely. Yes. Autocorrect decided to make me say, I live this. This is fantastic.
Yeah. I'm gonna make that a I'm gonna I'm gonna blame autocorrect for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am. You read that red light. Autocorrect. I tried to stop, but autocorrect just sent me right through it, officer. Sorry.
Yep.
Well, and you mentioned to me before, it's an odd thing for you. At this point, you have a personal assistant now.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds fancier than it really is, actually. But I guess because, I am working as a voice actor and then I also work in film and I was teaching yoga full time, but I've cut back. So I teach about 9 classes a week and I'm on the board of a nonprofit. So I do a few things and I need help is the short story.
That's putting it mildly, yes.
Yeah, I mean we all need help, and trust me,
Sure.
yeah, I seek to get it wherever I can. So I put it out there that I needed, a little assistance, and luckily the person that came forward, it's funny, it's kind of a coincidence. She's a yogi and
Okay.
was just kind of looking for a mentor. So I'm
Uh-huh.
happy to offer that mentorship. I've been teaching for almost a decade,
Wow.
and she also her mother is a writer that was the writer of a TV series I was on for 5 years,
Okay.
for 5 seasons. So it was just, one
Is
of
that
those little small.
renegadepress.com?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. You did your homework. Good for you.
Well, imdb.com did homework, so I was able to
Yeah,
access that.
That's true. Except that IMDb I find can be problematic because, well,
That's
just for
why,
a lot of reasons.
yeah, not a lot of the things on there are totally accurate. I'm just, I look at it and say, okay, there's a good chance this is true.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, as far as filmography, like what I would say is that oftentimes like credits don't make it on there, and so and then also it's really difficult to change things once they're up there. So if somebody wants to write smack about you, they can
Uh,
do that, and it's really hard to get it taken down.
that's a shame.
But I mean, it's just like anything else on the internet. So I say take
Yeah,
everything that you see and hear with a grain of salt or sand
absolutely.
or
Yep.
whatever the expression is.
Yes.
I think it's sand.
I'm gonna say salt just because it's better on French fries, but hey,
I like yam fries personally.
sweet potato fries have become so popular here in the last few years.
Yeah, well, because they're delicious, clearly.
I really wish sweet potatoes are one of those things that I really wish I liked, and I've tried so hard, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, I think you're not alone. I think it's a kind of a specific taste. But yeah, I remember when I was in Japan, there was like yeah, like different yam flavored things. Oh, and there was a yam theme song in the supermarket.
Oh, I believe that. Absolutely, yeah.
They had like a little cart of yams wrapped in tinfoil, and from the cart was
Oh, the sweet
broadcast this
potato
music. It was
man.
like,
Yes, 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 yes.
you
That's
know.
Yakimo, Yakimo. Oh yeah, I know that one. That's that is the one exception. I don't like sweet potatoes in a lot of cooking, but no, cold winter days.
Mm,
Some usually older men will get a small flatbed truck, and in the
mm,
back of it they've got an oven, and they will
mm.
slowly drive around the neighborhoods at night or be next to the train station, and for $1 you get a fresh, hot roasted sweet potato right out of the oven.
Clever buggers.
Oh, it's good. You get off the train like, oh man, it's so cold, and the wind is just hot sweet potato for $1. Yes, here you are. Give me $1, and you break it open from the tinfoil and just eat it right there. Oh, it's good.
It's like the reverse ice cream truck.
Exactly. That is exactly how it works. It's an anti-ice cream truck. Yes.
Amazing. I kind of want one now. Well, I'm going out for Mexican tonight. Maybe I can get sweet potato fries. No, that defeats the whole Mexican
Hey,
purpose.
call it fusion. All right.
Exactly.
You
Well,
get
that's
as
kind of what it
many
is.
different cultures combined into a food. You call it fusion, and it's fantastic. That's how it works.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I still insist. My hometown in one of the absolute best Chinese restaurant or affordable Chinese restaurant
Mhm.
owners and food and menu items were all Chinese, but everybody working the kitchen was Mexican.
It's fascinating that, right?
Oh, such a combination. Oh my god, it was so good. It was still
Mm.
odd to hear them say dos mugu gaipan,
Yeah.
but oh man, that was fantastic food.
So good. Yeah, it's like that with a lot of the sushi restaurants here. They're actually Korean run and
Yeah,
it doesn't really make a difference because sometimes they have delicious sushi. You just it
absolutely.
depends on
Yep, yep.
the place.
I have seen a place in California that has mozzarella cheese stick sushi, and I think that might be pushing it a bit far.
Yeah, that I mean that sounds very, if I can say this without offending anyone, very California or
It does
but I
sound
love
very California.
California.
I understand exactly what you're saying, and
Okay.
I don't think it's offensive, but I don't live in California. It's not my group,
Don't get
so
me wrong. I could always go for a little California sunshine and all of the good things that go along with California.
oh yes, absolutely. But yeah, occasionally you'll get something from California. Really? That oh okay.
Well, and speaking of fusion, I think the first time that I had sushi was in New York, and then I went to Japan and had sushi there. But I had some really good sushi in New York,
Oh, I believe it.
and to jump back to your con question, and sorry if I've been a little uh
If my interview stays fully on the rails the whole time, I consider it a failure, and I debate whether or not to release it at all. So we're fine.
hooray for tangents.
Yay!
Well, the New York con that I'll be going to upcoming
Oh yes,
is
NYC
yeah,
Pony Con.
PonyCon exactly. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I think, well, it's in Brooklyn and it's going to be good.
It does look it. They've got they've got quite the lineup so far.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not on the site right now, but I know off the top of my head that my friend Vince Tong is going to be
Vincent
going.
Tong's going to be going. Yeah, looks like Andrea Libman and Daniel Ingram have been
Daniel Ingram
confirmed
will
at
be
this point.
there.
So yeah,
So we're just going to have a grand time, I think.
and it looks like it looks like it's happening right after Valentine's Day. So you're going to
It's
get all the
happening.
discount chocolate.
Oh, yes, I will. Well, my first job aside from outside of the film industry was at a Belgian chocolate shop, so I
Really,
do appreciate chocolate. Yes.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I I still insist, and I've had people get angry at me, but nobody is able to disagree. Japan has the best cheap chocolate in the world, and Japanese white chocolate I will put against any chocolate on earth.
I fully agree with that, actually, and I can vouch for it, having recently eaten quite a large amount of Japanese chocolate. But in fact, my in-house roommate ate the entire white bar for the most part,
Oh
so
no!
I know it kind of killed me.
Oh,
But yeah.
yeah, the yeah white chocolate here is I
Well, to let anyone who's listening in on a little information, Osaka Jack was kind enough to send a couple bars from Japan for the holidays, and I really, really appreciate that. So thanks again.
you're very welcome.
And actually, I think the milk chocolate would compete well in this market. I really enjoyed the almonds
Yeah, I
chocolate
think
cover.
it would compete. I don't think it's the best, but I think it definitely compete. I don't know. Did was I able to send any Melty Kiss?
Hmm. I don't believe so.
Okay,
However, it's possible that at my agency somewhere along the line somebody sampled something.
it's gone. Then it's absolutely gone. Melty Kiss is a fantastic chocolate that its melting point is just 98 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
So in the box, it's fine, but the moment you put it in your mouth,
Oh
blurp, just
yeah.
melts.
Kind
It's
of like Cool Mints in America
yeah,
or
similar,
Cool
similar in
Squirts.
the
Cool
melting.
Squirts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but different.
Oh, it's so good. And you put that with a macadamia. Oh,
Yeah, see, the chocolate snob in me will never leave, and
oh yeah,
and I can get into most chocolates, and I especially, yeah, I like to experiment. I love marzipan, and I love like a variety. If I like dark chocolate, but I like
sure.
variety as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Spicy chocolate's a thing now.
I've had Korean kimchi chocolate, and that's fantastic.
Whoa, mind blown.
It's you hear it and you're like, what? Really? And you eat it like, oh, it's chocolate. Oh, it's that was fantastic.
I think that was my experience with wasabi chocolate. it tastes like chocolate. Oh my good. Oh, that was really nice.
It hits you 3 times before you're able to react to the first one. Yep.
Yep, pretty much.
Well, you mentioned it a little bit, but yes, you are a yogi. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I teach, and I didn't ever intend to, but it just kind of happened, and so it's been going on for about almost, yeah, I guess 8 years,
Wow.
and I'm really fortunate that, it's something that has helped me a lot,
Mm.
having started working in the film industry from a young age. Like that can just be kind of a climate that has its own stresses, and
Oh,
yoga.
yes, absolutely.
But I mean, it was also, yeah, it was such a great experience to find yoga so that I can really balance working in the industry still, and
Hmm.
also in teaching yoga. I get to kind of share the benefit that I've experienced over time from continuously practicing. Like I was a dancer as well when I came to yoga, had a lot of injuries, like
Oh,
sore back and
sure.
just kind of always in pain.
Hmm. Hmm.
But what I found from years and years of of practicing yoga is that just the ancient system that it is, there's some intelligence to it, and
Mhm.
it works to, for anyone who practices with dedication to,
Right.
kind of heal the body from, what time has caused, and,
Sure.
whatever else injuries we've endured. So
Right. Right. I think it's I think it's wonderful that you clarify that it needs to be repeated.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people might have one experience and then they say it's not for me.
I I would call it the January gym membership.
Oh man, yeah, you're really touching upon something that's a reality, actually.
Oh, I believe it, and it's not just in Japan. It's not just in America. It's Japan as well. Yeah, January sees a lot of I'm gonna do it this year until January 10th, and then yeah, that was hard. I'm up. I'm out.
It's an interesting way that that we perceive things in today's kind of technological age, where we get really impatient quickly. And
Yeah.
I think that what, these kinds of ancient like meditations teach us is about patience, but that all of that comes in time. And I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not impatient, because,
Oh yeah.
well, luckily I don't drive a car, so that helps.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I guess and I've taught yoga in Japan, so I have a little bit of an idea about the climate there.
Hmm.
What I think is often kind of marketed to people, and that is a big part of yoga in today's atmosphere.
Mm.
Uh, and what's kind of marketed is that it is this like big fitness trend, and you'll lose all this weight if you do hot yoga. And
Yeah,
I
I
just
I just cannot get behind the idea of hot yoga. I it yoga I'm absolutely fine with, but I cannot understand why somebody would willingly do something that requires exertion in an area that hot and sweaty.
Well, I mean, there's more and more research coming out. Like in recently in the Canadian Medical Journal, there was an article about pregnant women that practice hot yoga, and how there's a host of, um, I guess, unfortunate consequences that seem
Oh,
to be linked along with that. So I have really no comment, except
I
that
know.
it's not for me. But
Mhm.
I say, whatever gets you into yoga and whatever sparks that passion,
I would
I
agree.
think,
Yeah, if it's your thing, go to it. I would just plead to stay hydrated.
yeah, well, because if you're out in the desert, the first reason that you'd go isn't because you're lacking food, it's because you're dehydrated.
Well, and beyond just death, I know how much smaller my kidney stones have gotten since I've increased my water intake significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't drown yourself, but beyond that, there's really not much danger to having more water every day.
That's such a good point. Yeah, I think there's so many things we drink that don't hydrate us, but actually do the reverse. And
Yeah.
it's really fascinating to look at water as, that there's a documentary called Blue Gold, and it looks into water as kind of our most valuable resource right now, actually clean water.
Yeah. See, that's how Canada's going to make its money in the next century.
Well, I
Canada's
don't
got
know
more
about
fresh
that.
water than I think the rest of the world combined or something like that. But
Something like that, except that we're doing a lot to make it not that way right
yeah,
now. And here's where I start to get into politics, which is also a subject I don't speak about so much in these situations, but that, someone who I'm a big fan of is a scientist in Canada named David Suzuki.
okay.
Perhaps you've heard of him.
I haven't, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
No, it's nothing to apologize for, but he's just a great mind of today, and he's just done a lot of environmental resource, and he's an environmentalist that's fully backed by science. And
Huh.
I think it's just really interesting to look at the bigger picture of what's going on in our world, with climate, and people who still deny that climate change exists. It's
Uh,
kind of
yeah, of course there will. Well, I okay. I tried to stay. I know I'm a cynical person. I know this. I
Join the
try
club.
to say. Somebody pointed it out to me rather recently, and I had to admit it's absolutely true. I've been called a kind person and a generous person, but I'm absolutely a grumpy person. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I have to agree. Yeah, I guess that's absolutely true. I am grumpy, but that doesn't make me unkind or ungenerous or.
I think there's a lot of reasons why you might be grumpy in today's age, and I think that's partly why Grumpy Cat has received the response that it has because I think everyone can identify
That's a
with
good point.
being grumpy, and I think it's just a sign that yeah that there's
Well,
there's something
I
going on there.
yeah, I mentioned on Twitter as just a joke, but I said I honestly believe at this point, if somebody were found to be injecting milk bottles with ammonia, there would be somebody on Twitter defending them.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
joking around, but I don't think that's incorrect.
A lot of people become cynical the more that they know about kind of what goes on, what is allowed to go on in the world.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. Unfortunately, I'm not saying there aren't positive things in the world. Absolutely, there absolutely are. But
Totally. Like ponies. I think that's
yeah,
another reason why it's taken off as much as it has. Like I have my theories around this that
mm,
ponies really contribute to people's, coming back to this idea of positive outlook
yeah,
and human qualities that are put into pony form that are actually favorable and this remembrance of, these greater attributes that we as humans can strive for, and we see this through the ponies.
oh yeah, absolutely. I I put forth that uh, a bit ago. I believe that one of the reasons that it's gotten such a following is I have a hard time off the top of my head thinking of a recent positive thing that does not involve mocking in some point. I think there's a lot of great comedies out there, but a lot of them are mocking,
Hmm.
and Pony doesn't do that. It's
No, you're right,
just
because they just play
positive.
off, yeah, they play off of their attributes that are true of them. And so it's not mocking them, it's just, the twisted reality of it put in a
Yes.
bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate too that, and I guess kind of what opened my eyes to this is that there's so many different aspects of the show. Like there is the comedic aspect. There's this
Absolutely.
panel
Yeah.
in New Orleans when I was at Derpicon South, and
Mm.
it was all about the comedy of the show, and that's such a big aspect, but it's
Oh yeah.
not the only aspect. Like there's so many more elements.
Yeah.
No, no pun intended. Sorry.
Ah, you are doing well in learning the terminology. Good for you.
Well, I can't deny that there have been a lot of things said about rocks when it comes to mod.
Yes, yes, I'm sure. Have you gotten any gifts of just a rock yet?
Actually, yes, but
Really? Okay, I
not
was
just
just joking,
any
but okay.
rock. Not just any rock. Mike, who you might know of Final Draft,
Yes, yes.
and such an amazing person, was kind enough to. So I haven't addressed this yet, but on Twitter, I used to really love hashtags. I still do.
Hmm.
I think there's something special about abbreviating communication to the point of a hashtag.
Okay.
And when I do it self-consciously, as in I feel that it's not done with anything more than a grain of salt or
Okay. Okay.
sand.
Sure, sure.
So, so he carved a hashtag into a little rock and gave it to me, and it's hashtag Boulder, and I keep it in my bedroom when I sleep at night. So
Nice.
it was a really, dear thing to do because before mod was ever around, I collect precious stones and rocks,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
I think it's just kind of ironic because I do have a liking
Hmm.
for rocks in various forms. So the effort that he put in to carve this hashtag,
That's
it was
awesome.
fun.
That's great.
Um, And another girl at a convention gave me a rock, and she was from a place that had rock in the title, and I don't
Okay.
remember
We
exactly where it
will
was like.
assume it's Little Rock, Arkansas.
This
No?
was in Wisconsin, though.
Ah, okay.
I think
Possible
it
they
was
came up
called
from it, but
Wound Rock. No, that can't be right. Well, anyway, she came from Rock something.
mhm.
There's probably 100 places, if not more, if you were to look in an atlas that have rock in them.
Or some version of it, I'm quite sure, yeah.
Yeah, like there's a couple of different places called Appleton.
Well, I know there's at least 19 states that have a Springfield.
Right, that's always a good joke.
Yeah. Which is why The Simpsons was able to keep that a secret for so long.
Right. And Vancouver also exists in Washington as well as in Canada and in British Columbia.
Huh, okay.
Rather, did I say, yeah, Vancouver.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
yeah.
If anybody else knows of an Osaka that's somewhere else, I'd be curious to know that.
So that's where you're based?
Yep, right now I am talking to you from just south of Namba, which is the dead center of Osaka City.
I never did make it to Osaka while I was in Japan, but I did have food
Ah.
shipped to me from Osaka.
It's often said here, Tokyo is the cultural capital of Japan, as well as the actual capital. But Osaka is the food capital of Japan.
How fascinating.
Yep, we've got. I think it's funny myself. Osaka is the ninth largest city in the world, but because we're in Japan with Tokyo, nobody really thinks of it as that large.
Right. But it is.
It's massive. It's ginormous.
Yeah. I can't even start to about the size of Tokyo and anything, remotely that big for people living there. I mean, but I will say I think you're right on about saying that it's the food capital. The food that I had that was shipped from there, because I'm vegetarian, so I had some vegetarian food apparently that needed to be shipped from Osaka.
Okay.
It was so flavorful and so
Oh yeah.
tasty. Like I wouldn't deny that it's some of the best food I've had.
Yep, yep. It's definitely a bit more limiting because Japan still doesn't quite get vegetarian and how that's really important to some people.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Well,
It was hard to kind of communicate what I meant when I would say no meat because they would still put a slab of pork on top of my noodles.
a lot of from what I've spoken to people, a lot of people don't understand that it's not just a picky food situation. A lot of them, when they hear somebody who has a diet restriction from choice or from even from religion, a lot of them are just scoffing, like, well, why aren't they going to eat it? Like it's supposed to be eaten. Which
Yeah, it's
can
so
occasionally
interesting.
get a problem, but
Or the word, like I would say vegetarian, and they would not. So I had to say vegetarian, and
yes.
then sometimes they would understand me. And it was, my fault because I don't speak the language and I can't be in this foreign place expecting everybody to understand me
Oh,
when
no,
I don't
absolutely. But
speak much Japanese.
it, I find it funny. The pronunciation sounds so close to us, but it can be so different.
So different.
When I first came here, I was trying to speak to a student for 20 minutes about sumo, and they had this confused look on their face, like they had no idea what I was talking about. And I kept talking about, sumo wrestlers, really big guys. They wear, looks like a diaper to me, but I know that's not the name. I know they're massively strong despite their huge frame. And then all of a sudden, like you could see the light bulb go off. I said, sumo, sumo. He said, oh, sumo. I'm like, ah, yes,
I
sumo.
know.
That's
I
yeah.
know. It seems so minor to us, and yet it's interesting. I started to understand the movie Lost in Translation in a whole other,
Mhm.
more
Yeah.
direct way.
Most Japanese people don't like that movie as much, just because a large part of that is the dichotomy with everything that's being said towards these main characters, and they have no idea what any of it is. Versus, I mean, if you speak Japanese, then you know exactly what they're saying, and there's no communication problem there.
That's true. And then, on the topic of mocking, like I feel too that that movie sometimes didn't do the best job of being neutral. Like I feel like it was a little influenced in the comedic end,
Yeah,
um
a little bit. Yeah.
but I mean, I think that the culture, you come in and you can react in a number of ways. You can feel isolated or it can be humorous to you. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I can understand that that movie maybe is a little bit biased.
Mm,
But I did directly, in my own experience, feel that some things were definitely lost in translation.
absolutely.
Yeah, I actually, I'm such a nerd. Whenever I do something like this, I love to research. And I was watching the show that you did with the unofficial, no, official, unofficial subtitle. Uh,
Oh, Choco Ray-chan.
yeah, Taco Ray-chan.
Yes, yes.
And so, t could you describe to me what she does?
Well, unfortunately, season 2 is where they have stopped airing over here, so we don't have season 3 or 4 yet.
Oh
But
dear.
they've dubbed Pony season 1 and season 2, and most of the jobs in translation have been really good, but not completely. But what she does is she doesn't take the original English of the episode. She listens to the Japanese dub and then puts English subtitles to the episode with that, as if
That's
it
what
were
I thought.
originally in Japanese, and then we change it to English.
Okay, that's what I thought,
Mm-mm.
but I just wasn't certain. So, yeah, okay. And being that I don't speak Japanese, the work that she does, as much as it's very cool, and I appreciate that,
Oh
she's
yeah.
helping to share it with the community, I can't quite relate as closely.
No, no, yeah, I really appreciate because my level is not as high as it should be, so I will. Oh, that's what they. Okay, okay, I get it now. I get it. I understand. Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think anyone who speaks Japanese fluently as an English speaker and vice versa, anyone who's Japanese that's able to be fluent, like that's pretty amazing.
I would agree. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I can make myself understood, and I seem to be the envy of a lot of people with just that distinction.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think there's also naturally like a timidness, being timid that comes along with maybe not being completely fluent because you don't want to, yeah. It's a big risk to take, I guess.
Well, my advice for any person from the West coming over here, best way to get on an equal level is drinking. Go out drinking with Japanese friends. And I attribute it to this. My alcohol tolerance is a lot higher than most Japanese people's. So by the end of the second beer, they're getting a little bit sloshed, so their Japanese level is dropping rapidly. Me, on the other hand, I've only had my second beer, so my inhibitions have started to go off, so my Japanese ability is getting a bit higher just for a minute, and we meet right there at the second beer.
Right there at the middle. And there's something about that whole, yeah, letting go of something, be it through having a couple drinks or sometimes you just make that connection with the person. And like I had a couple Japanese friends and it didn't matter so much that we couldn't really speak the same language.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I could say matcha, and then we went to McDonald's and got matcha ice cream, and I went, whoa, this is a thing. Yeah, I love just all of the cultural isms and the way that food is there.
Yes, yes. I have just now accepted that I'm starting to really like corn on pizza. It's a given. It's almost a staple over here. You get pizza, it's going to have corn on it. And for a long time, I was like, no, that's not how pizza is served. It's not. Now I'm like, you know what? It's pretty good. I'm okay with it. Whatever.
Maybe it's just associated with what's American, like we like our corn and so we put it on pizza, just like how we put ketchup on French fries or something.
Pretty much, yes. That's as far as I can figure. Yeah, that's. And to be honest, some of the original pizzas I've had over here have been fantastic. Oh, what was? Somebody took me to a pizza buffet the other day, and it was okay, but they had dessert pizza.
Oh
And
yeah.
instead of a tomato sauce, it was kind of a pudding sauce. So it was crust with a pudding sauce and then strawberries and marshmallows on top. It was fantastic.
So creative. Yeah. I appreciated that the Japanese like their desserts and they'll do
Oh yeah.
a lot with pastries and
Mhm.
the anything French too. And I speak French fluently, so I love to
That's
see.
very impressive. Now you can downplay your Japanese non-ability however you want to, but the fact that you're fluent in another language is rather impressive.
Well, I started at a young age, and I think that's an important part of really kind of assimilating yourself into another language is
Very
that
true.
your comprehension's really open. So
Hmm.
when I was in Japan teaching yoga, just to see the different Japanese interpretations of French and English signs is, yeah, it made me kind of want to move there so that I could be a media, like, I don't know, something to do with creating different slogans and things. It was, yeah.
That is a point of it's not just from one direction. I can tell you guys there are Japanese people that laugh at foreigners' bad Japanese.
Oh, I
It
would be
isn't
the
just in one way.
laughable one. They would probably point at me. No.
It's usually not a personal thing. Like they don't, ah, you're dumb. But it's like somebody will say something. I'll be, did you mean this? Oh, yes, yes, I did. Sorry, that's yeah.
That actually did happen to me when I was learning The Little Mermaid, part of your world, because
Hmm.
I was in Japan to teach yoga, and I taught in in Fukushima and Tokyo and Okinawa,
Okay,
and I was singing to children when I would teach children
sure.
with another singer friend of mine, and we were also teaching yoga. And I was singing part of Your World in English from The
Hmm.
Little Mermaid, but then I tried to learn the Japanese, and whatever I was saying at one point actually wasn't, I was saying like part of your beef. Like I was saying something so wrong, and it was something to do with a cow.
I believe it. Yeah. Okay. I can. I'm not sure the exact
So
one, but yeah.
yeah, if I tried to speak Japanese, people would probably laugh, and I would be okay with that because I'm learning. So, and I
It's
want to,
very rare that any Japanese person will laugh in your face at somebody trying.
right,
However, when they go home at night, they're going to have a story to
right.
tell,
Whole other story.
and I'm fine with that. That's
That's okay.
yeah. If I have an interaction with somebody, I always look at it. Okay, that didn't go well, but I tell you what, they've got a great story to tell tonight, and their family's not going to believe it. And yeah,
Yep, that's me.
I I'm fairly well known. Um, I'm really good at the crane games.
Mm.
I can usually win. And Christmas Eve, I was out to see a movie, and I had a few hours to kill. I was at one of the areas. I saw it was a Disney Princess Elsa set, and it included a tiara and shoes and a bracelet and a necklace. And it was just teetering on the edge. So I'm like, all right. So one try, and I win it. And I get it, and I'm like, this is awesome. And there's no way I'm going to be able to use this. These shoes are the size of two of my fingers. So I was just able. I looked around and just found a family. It had mother, father, and little daughter, and I just went up to them and I just, in a deep Santa-esque voice, I said, "Ho ho, Merry Christmas!" And I gave it to them and I walk away.
That's such a good story.
And I am sure for years they will be telling, "Do you remember when that foreigner just appeared and gave us something?" Yeah.
And pretend, pretended to be Santa. Oh my gosh. I'm laughing so hard because actually a really similar thing happened to me
Really?
on my last night in Japan. I had this umbrella and it had been raining, but I didn't want to pack it in my suitcase. So
Sure.
I'd been walking behind these businessmen in the street, and then we happened to be staying at the same hotel in Tokyo. So they were kind of looking behind them, and so I offered them this umbrella, and they said they didn't. Unfortunately, they didn't understand me when
Mhm.
I offered them the umbrella. So, but then I went into the hotel that they were staying at, and I think they thought I was following them, and so we got onto this. this elevator, and they were on one side of the elevator, and I was in the corner on the other, and we got off on the same floor. Like this actually happened. And their rooms were all across from where I was staying. And so I could hear them outside my room, and they were like, I don't know, I think they were kind of giggling. And so I opened my door and I pushed the umbrella at them and I said, Here, have it. I don't need it. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it in any,
Mhm.
even attempt in Japanese. So I think hopefully they got that I wasn't stalking them and
Right.
that I actually just wanted to give my umbrella to them. But yeah, I can understand that, if you don't speak the language, that communication,
Well,
can
I
be
mean, that's
difficult.
definitely a thing to take away. If you can't communicate with somebody, give them a good story to tell their friends.
Exactly. And they went away talking about this girl with the crazy hair
Mm.
that gave them an umbrella.
I always carry a spare umbrella in my bag, so if it's raining and I got my big umbrella, well, not big, but the cheap convenience store suckers, just
You got to
$3.
get the cheap ones.
Sorry.
You have to get the cheap ones.
Well, I mean they're efficient. It's a
They
vinyl
are.
umbrella. It's large enough for me, but I've got a really small, compact one in my bag for when I'm not aware that it's going to rain. But usually, if I'm aware, then I'll take the regular size umbrella. If I'm walking and I see somebody who doesn't have one, like, oh, here, you have it, and then I'll pull out the other umbrella. I'm like, I'm okay. You take yours. Go ahead.
Aw. Yeah, see, I'm the same way in Vancouver. Like we all need umbrellas here, and yeah, it's a good idea to get the cheap ones because you're liable to lose them if you are anything like I am. A lot of people have been gifted umbrellas from me.
I I still insist that I'm trying to work my boss if we can get our school's logo in some cheap umbrellas and just pass them out at a train station on rainy days.
That's so nice.
It would be such a great advertisement for the school.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, you'd be everyone's hero.
Pretty much, yes. Well,
Well,
I'm wondering if you might not be able to talk about it, and if so, I can understand. But we've hinted at that you've done music.
oh, yeah, I actually can talk about this.
Okay.
I'm in the process.
Mhm.
What as a precursor, I grew up doing musical theater, and
Okay.
I'm a classically trained singer, which isn't something you'd necessarily know if you only are aware of me as Maud, and
Right.
because I don't exactly sing. Um, and it would be most probably interesting singing if I were to. Although I see it as somewhat being like Tom York, but he's so expressive. But
Okay. Gotcha.
but anyway, I'm in the process of recording an album, and I'm collaborating with a friend of mine who's an EDM producer from Iran originally, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just really interested in that genre, and I've only recently become aware of that genre in the pony world, and I
Mhm.
find that that's so cool because it's a real in for me, just in terms of like relating
Sure.
with the fandom because it's so close to me that
Mhm.
I guess genre or whatever you want to call it. So I'm making some music and we'll see how it goes. And I kind of want to release this album by the end of the year
Oh,
at the latest.
that would be nice. Yeah.
We'll see. Please don't get your hopes
I
up, but
won't push. No, just something to possibly look forward to.
it's been a lot of fun, just to tap into that side of myself. I've always written music, but
Hmm.
it's never become this actuality of being an album. And I was really inspired with when you spoke with Basic, like I said, and
All right. Yeah.
also went to Ponyville Cider Fest with, and that was the one in Milwaukee with
Right.
the Kraber family and Black Griffin, and
Yes.
just to see, what they're doing, how cool that is,
Hmm.
and you know, Black Griffin is insanely talented. I'm just going
He
to say that
really
right
is.
now.
Yes. He was on my show, and the show was about an hour long, but I swear we recorded like 4.5 hours of material because we just kept talking. And
Well,
I glanced
he,
up, I'm like, huh. It's past sunset for me.
It's a giant creative flow when you're with him, and it's
Oh,
just it was so clear to me. Like I did like a Whose Line Is It Anyway panel. I think it was called Whose
yes.
Line Is It Any Pony?
Mm.
And we had so much fun. Like I could have just watched him. Like, I did improv in high school, but to see, the way that him and Michelle interacted, and I could see why you'd record with him for 4 hours because he's just
Yeah.
kind of this ball of energy.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, he was stationed in Japan for a bit. Unfortunately, we never got the chance to meet up.
Oh,
It was very unfortunate. We both regretted that, but just schedules did not click.
I get that. I mean, yeah. Even just organizing this, and I'm like, oh gosh, the holidays and my family. Like, I have a giant family.
Hmm.
They're giant in a number of ways. My dad's 6'5", my sister's 6'3".
Okay.
So, but I got the short stick. I got the short straw. I'm
Ah,
5'4".
okay.
So, but in heels, everything can change.
I'm just gonna say it. I am slightly jealous. I would enjoy going to any department store in Japan and finding clothes that fit me.
You're like my sister, who's 6'3", and as a woman, being 6'3" anywhere is kind of remarkable.
Yes, yes. I empathize. Difficult to find things that fit well. Yeah.
Yep, and I have the exact opposite issue where I have to curb my inner shopaholic.
Oh, you,
Not that it's that much of an issue, but
right.
I do love shoes. I'll say that much.
I do not know from firsthand experience, but I have been told that while Japan has an amazing amount of clothing to be shopped for, the shoe selection is very lacking in volume.
Mm,
So the length of shoes might be fine, but those are going to pinch on the sides.
right. Yeah. I remember shopping in Japan and I couldn't really get any pants past my knees and like I'm not that big of a person. I mean,
Right.
it is what it is. I'm, Nordic descent, I guess. And but yeah, it was like, oh, we're not going any further.
Yep.
Bone structure.
But I mean, and no, I'm not angry about it. You get the clothing that's going to sell to most of your customers. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah. So, do you have 32 centimeter shoes? No. Okay, I'm done shopping. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, I guess that makes the whole online experience. I
Oh, it
recently
has
got a
gotten
pair of shoes online.
so much better in the last few years. When I
Yeah.
first came here, I literally had to wait until I visited America for. I had to wait until I visited my family to stock up on clothing for the year.
Yeah.
Now I can get it sent to me online. Yay! We live in the future.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous when you sign up for one thing online and then they always send you emails, but
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. But I can get shoes. Shoes
exactly.
sent to me. Oh,
I know, and shoes are important.
yes. Well, so we've mentioned that upcoming is going to be NYC PonyCon, and try to maybe look for an album.
Yes, and by the way, I mean, once the albums comes out, then we can talk about it. But NYC is definitely happening, and if
Yes.
you are anywhere close to NYC, as in you could take a flight there, and you're listening to this, it's in February, and
Hmm.
um, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. You can visit ponycon2015.com
Hmm.
for more information, and yeah, it's going to be in Brooklyn. I haven't been. I've been to New York like 5 or 6 times at least,
Wow.
and I haven't been to Brooklyn, so I'm really
Ooh,
excited.
okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
And that's going to, and like we said, right after Valentine's Day. So a
I
lot of
think, isn't
choice.
it during?
Is it? I don't know. The PonyCon app says the 15th of February.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that the app might be slightly misleading because I think it's
Okay.
that whole weekend.
I see.
Yeah, it's
Ah,
the
okay. So
14th to the 16th, so it's Valentine's Day. until the 16th. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of love. Just saying.
Yep. A lot of love, a lot of chocolate.
Uh-huh. The same thing, pretty much. No.
I have to make this joke. I just have to, otherwise I'm going to regret it. But whatever music you eventually decide to put on the album title should just be Ingrid Nilson Rock.
And it's like not rock music at all.
And you
But
never explain the title. Just people are like, why did you have only classical music and operettas if it's called rock? I'm not saying anything.
I should I should try and dress up like Joan Jett on the front cover and rock, and then it's like electronic dance music or like, you know,
That would be
the
great.
ukulele. I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna turn out.
I still insist that the next upcoming music is going to be polka dubstep rap enka.
Yeah, like I feel like that could be a thing considering how much the dubstep world seems to incorporate.
Yes.
I'll put it out there. I love Bass Nectar. I think that that's a really talented artist. And Basic talked about being a fan of Dead Mouse. I was
Yes.
at a music festival this summer and he was there.
Oh, wow.
I'm a big fan of music.
Sure, sure.
I love just all genres, and I'm not specific to one genre, but
Mhm,
yeah, I mean, I definitely have like specific artists that I love to listen to.
mhm. Fantastic. So, a question that I ask in each of my interviews, you've told me that you've started researching, and so you've gotten most of the way through season 3 at this point. But a question I ask in each of my interviews, in all of My Little Pony, what would you say is the one line or one scene that defines you
Oh man.
or speaks
Oh,
out to you the most?
oh, but that's a tricky question.
It is. I'm rather proud of it. This will be the 99th time I've asked it.
Ah, um, you know what? It's
Hmm,
kind of like how I said that I became a yoga teacher. I didn't really want to be.
sure.
It's like in the Alicorn Amulet episode, the magic duel
Yes.
between Trixie, oh my goodness, and Twilight,
Mhm.
and the way that Fluttershy has to go outside of the bubble that's been created around Ponyville.
Right, right.
Is that correct?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I okay, so and they carry all these little animals carry her out of the bubble and she wants to run back in the bubble. I feel like just that idea is like my whole theme in life is that I'm constantly being dragged outside of my comfort zone.
I
I
like
want to
that.
run back in, but yet like these fabulous little creatures and friends and signs and just happenings draw me back into these uncomfortable places that push me towards, discovering what this is all about.
Mhm. I think her exact quote was, "This is me being brave, but I want to be brave at home, locked in my closet with my teddy bear."
That is so telling to who I truly am at heart. Yep.
I like that. That's a good one. Yes. Okay.
Cheers.
Well, everybody, today we've been speaking with Ingrid Nilson. Be sure to follow her on Twitter. Check out NYC PonyCon coming up. And could we have Maud say hello to everybody?
Yeah, she's right here. Just let me get her. Oh, wait. No, it's Boulder actually here. Oh, a dog just barked. Did you hear that?
I did hear that. That was odd.
That was so weird. Right as I said that, like this huge dog barked in the background.
Maud can summon
Anyway,
dogs. Awesome.
I'm glad Maud could make an appearance.
Yes. Everybody, this has been Osaka Jack with Into the Spotlight on Everfree Network. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.